Monday next week, I will check off the 5-1 to 5-4 practice quiz. It's in the book. And then I will also check off the index card optimization. We did quite a bit of it in class, but just have that done. So I'll check both those off on Monday. Sound like a deal? Good with that? And then a reminder, there is a quiz that is on Schoology. It is counting against your grade if you don't have it in yet. So make sure you get that done, please. And then let's see, next week we have a couple of yeah, that'll work. We're going to finish up the chapter. Let's see, Monday we'll deal with the 5-5, Tuesday 5-6. Wednesday we'll do a review. And then Thursday we'll have a small quiz, pencil, paper in class. Sound good? Can I do that? And then Friday we have some sort of real life application. But today, per your request, we will take on a real life application with math. And this was suggested that we talk about. And it's called price discrimination. Right? Am I right with that? Yeah, okay. So price discrimination. Why are prices different for some than others? So I had to do a little research on this. I mean, it's definitely something that I have seen, but I didn't recognize that it was actually something that they called to. So they state that price discrimination charges customers different prices for the same products based on a bias towards groups of people with certain characteristics. Okay, and so some people might say, well, that sounds horrible, but if you've ever, one part of price discrimination would be, let's say you go to book a flight because you know you're flying someplace in July. You book it early, you might get an unbelievable price, and then there'll be a time as you're booking it that the price has increased, and then there's a time that the price might decrease again. And if you go on to Southwest Airlines thing, and I'm sure it's the same for other airlines, let's say you wanted to fly out on July 1st and come back July 8th from some location. If you look at it, they have different price points that are posted, and some of them are highlighted and some of them are not highlighted. And highlighted means you can buy it, some means you can't buy it at that point, particular time. But also, if you look on Southwest Airlines, and again, the other airlines might do it as well, is they might say only 2 tickets left at this price. Okay, so an airline would like to fill an airplane as full as possible to do a flight. Wouldn't that make sense for an airline? Now, if you've flown quite often, every now and then you get real lucky where you are on a relatively empty flight, which is always good because less people on a flight means less people's odors I have to smell, or you have to smell. And especially if you have a middle seat and you're like, oh sweet, no one's sitting on the aisle, so I'm going to move over to the aisle, or no one's sitting at the window, so I can move over to the window. So, obviously the middle seat is the worst seat. Now, what cracks me up right now with the airlines, who did I fly last? I think I flew American Airlines last. The last time I flew, I took American Airlines. And it was kind of funny that American Airlines. I look at flying this way. I want to spend the least amount of time on an airplane possible. But there are some people who feel I have to be on that airplane first. Well, the plane's not leaving until everyone's on. Now, I know some people are like, well, I want to make sure I get, my baggage. And we've all had people who you look at them going, why didn't you check that? Or you get the guy who's trying to stuff something into the overhead bin and you're like, that's not going to fit. So what's the holdup with flying, and what's the reason why people would want to get onto the plane faster than others? So they had what did they do in the order? I'm just going to label it. They said, if you're a Gold Star member, we'll go ahead and board you now. It doesn't matter where you're sitting on the plane, they'll go ahead and board you. And then maybe they would say, okay, first class, if the plane had first class, we'll board you now. And then anyone traveling or any military personnel, we will board you now. Anyone traveling with small children under the age of a certain age, say 4 or 5 or whatever, we'll board you now. Okay, now we'll board Silver Star members, and then basically get down to, all right, we'll board the rest of you, whatever. Well, I refuse to pay extra money to board the plane faster than somebody else. We're all getting to the same location at the same time. Yes, you, because you're sitting closer to the door, might get off the plane before I do. But for the most part, especially if you check bags, who cares? If you ever checked a bag flying someplace, you're tagging an extra hour onto your time at the airport trying to figure out which carousel your bags will come out on. But there's a little bit of a discrimination there because those who have money can get on the plane faster, or those who are choosing to spend their money can get on the airplane faster than someone else. Now, a couple of years ago, gosh, no, it was probably about 15 years ago, I guess, my dad and mom were up here, and they were staying out at Chatfield Lake, and my dad's the guy going, hey, if there's a hitch on it, I'm going to trail it. So he had this big old Dodge diesel pickup truck, a fifth wheel trailer, and then tagging on the back of the fifth wheel trailer was a Boston Whaler boat. So he had big truck, big fifth wheel, and a boat. So he realizes as he's kind of doing stuff on the boat that his battery on the boat, which is a marine cell battery, which is a little bit better battery than what you have in your car, was dead. And he tried to charge it, and it wouldn't take charge, so the cells had gone. It had just been in dry dock for too long, and the battery had died for whatever reason. So he goes over to a Walmart in Highlands Ranch and purchases the battery he needs. But before he had gone, he had put the charger on his battery, like took it completely out of the boat, put the charger so there was nothing being drawn off the battery, and the battery was attempting to charge. So he brings his battery back, and he's like, well, let's just test to see if the battery that he was charging worked. It did work. So then he decides, I'm just going to take this battery back to Walmart. Well, we didn't go to the Walmart in Highlands Ranch. We went to the Walmart over here by the car dealerships on Arapahoe Road, and I was with him. And my dad paid, let's just put a figure, I don't remember a dollar amount. Let's say he paid $200 for this battery at the Highlands Ranch Walmart. Now, Walmart from Highlands Ranch to the Walmart on Arapahoe Road, talking 3 or 4 miles, roughly. My dad has his receipt from Walmart and has the battery. And he goes, hey, because we're here, let's just go ahead and return it. Well, the Walmart here on Arapahoe Road says, we'll only give you again, I don't remember the exact price point, but let's say he paid $200 originally. That Walmart on Arapahoe said, we're only going to pay you $180 because that's what the price of our battery is. And it was a little disturbing because my dad at first was like, eat the $20, and I'm looking, going, dude, $20 is $20, man. Um, and I just asked the lady, it's like, why is the Walmart here a less expensive for that? Oh, we do that with all of our products. And so it's a little bit discriminatory because Highlands Ranch is a little bit different demographic than, say, Arapahoe Road. Not that there's anything wrong with anyone who lives around either one of them. It's just demographically, Highlands Ranch might have a higher demographic. So Walmart realizes that they can charge more. Is it right or wrong? It is what it is, I think. Let's see. So some of the things. Types of price discrimination. There are 3 types of price discrimination. There's first degree or perfect price discrimination, second degree, and third degree. These degrees of price discrimination are known as personalized pricing, first degree pricing, product versioning or menu pricing is second degree, and group pricing is third degree. So let's talk about like first degree, what it would be. Well, first degree discrimination or perfect price discrimination occurs when a business charges the maximum possible price for each unit consumed. Because prices vary among units, the firm captures all available consumer surplus for itself or the economic surplus. Many industries involve client services practice first degree price discrimination, where a company charges a different price for every good or service sold. Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll go with it. Second degree price discrimination occurs when a company charges a different price for different quantities consumed, such as quantity discounts on bulk prices. Okay, we've all been to Costco or Sam's Club, which are, large stores that you can buy way more toilet paper, paper towel, chicken soup, whatever you buy at Costco, you buy in bulk. Okay, is it really a better price? If you do your research, but let's say I wanted to buy a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup at King Soopers, I'm going to pay $1.50 for the can, and I'm just putting an arbitrary value. I'm not looking to debate on a price. But if I buy it in bulk from Costco, so I buy 10 cans or 12 cans or whatever comes in their thing, I pay less per can because I'm buying more. But the problem with buying more is, let's say you wanted to talk about somebody who is living paycheck to paycheck. So now, because they're living by paycheck to paycheck, they are being discriminated against because they're having to pay a higher amount per single item than somebody who is in a more fortunate situation that can afford to buy many more at the same time. Is it right or wrong? It is what it is. Third degree price discrimination occurs when a company charges a different price to different consumer groups. For example, we've all seen this. Go to the movie. Okay, there's the senior discount, there's the kids discount, there's the military discount. There's different discounts that are being offered. Okay, a child that goes into a movie theater is sitting in a seat for a certain amount of money. The adult sitting next to him paid a different amount of money for a seat that's identical. So why are they charging less for kids to go to the movies than not? I don't know. It's just, I've always remembered movie theaters being that way. So again, everyone's seeing the exact same movie, so why is there a price difference? Okay, so examples of price discrimination. Many industries such as airline industry, which we talked about, arts and entertainment, which we talked about, pharmaceutical industry use price discrimination strategies. Example of price discrimination includes issues using coupons, applying specific discounts. Examples would be like age discounts, or creating loyalty programs. My gosh, how many of those little key tags could you put on your key ring with your car keys? You have the King Soopers, you have Target one, whatever stores would have, you have all of these different things. So they're basically giving you a discount if you have their loyalty card. I've seen a lot of people in King Supers. They might be buying an item. And they're like, "Hey, do you have your King Supers card?" "Oh no, I don't have it with me." Here. What I need you to do, let's scan you in, and then you take this card and you go right up to that counter, and they'll get your information in. So the person gets the discount, and you watch the person take that card, walk up to the trash can on the way out, and throw away the card, and they never get part of the loyalty program. So does it work? Well, I mean, let's face it. If you're working at a grocery store, you're going to get someone who's going to get all frustrated, going, "What do you mean there's a discount on a loyalty card?" Yeah, give me the loyalty card, and I'm just going to throw it away. When tickets for a flight are not selling well, the airline reduces the cost of available tickets to regenerate sales. Because many passengers prefer flying home late on Sunday, those flights tend to be more expensive than flights leaving early Sunday morning. Airline passengers typically pay more for additional leg room as well. Okay, I'm lucky. I'm 5'9". I fit pretty much every seat. Yeah, I'm less comfortable, but let's face it. Can we just get rid of this on the airlines? And I know Frontier has. Can we just stop having the chairs tilt back? Because I feel like I'm being violated as soon as you push your chair back. And I actually saw a guy one time. It looked like a cane. It was a cane that it looked like he was walking up with it, but it was collapsible. And he actually took the cane and put it against his headrest next to his head and put it the distance up to the chair behind in front of him. So the person who was in front of him tried to lean back, they couldn't. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So, that person had a little bit bigger issues than just me going, "Oh, really, you're going to tilt your chair back?" So, is price discrimination illegal? The word discrimination and price discrimination does not typically refer to something illegal or derogatory in most cases. Instead, it refers to firms being able to charge the prices of their products or services dynamically as the market conditions change. Okay, so if an airline, let's say you bought your airline tickets kind of on a discount from one thing. If you ever go with a Priceline, you might get a lower rate that you paid for the tickets, but as soon as you go to change it, all of a sudden you're back up to, if you purchased a round trip ticket that cost $800 and that was the best price you could find on Priceline, if you go to change it, all of a sudden you're paying $1,000 and you're having to drop another $200 to do the change. So it takes you right back up to the value for it. Southwest Airlines used to be really good about, you could just switch flight to flight, no ifs, ands, and buts. Many years ago, gosh, this was had to be 82, 83. I was going to fly out to Albuquerque, New Mexico to meet my dad during the hot air balloon fiesta out in Albuquerque. And so I wasn't missing school. I would fly out on Friday after school for the weekend and then fly back on that Sunday. And then being it's a 9-day event, then I'd fly out the following Friday afternoon. And I remember there was one time I'm standing in the airport, and I kid you not, Southwest Airlines used to have, it was this specific. They would give you a note card with numbers 1 through however many seats are on the plane. And it was on a 3x5 card just like this, handwritten just like this. So they'd give you this. You're like, cool, I'm number 1. So you get on the plane, and you were good to go. I remember I'm standing in the airport, and my flight is starting to board, and there's another flight at the adjacent gate. And this is when Phoenix Airport was tiny. So you didn't walk down a jetway to get on the plane. You had to walk outside. You had to walk upstairs outside to go into the plane. And so we're going to get onto our plane, and my flight is booked. The flight right next to mine was leaving an hour later. So let's say my flight was leaving at 3. The plane next to me, going to the same location, was leaving at 4. So they come over to the PA, said, "Hey, just want to let you know you're on a fully booked flight. If any of you are willing to take the flight an hour from now, we will give you a free round trip ticket." And I'm like 13 years old at the time. I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool, but I don't know flying by myself. I'm 13 years old, probably shouldn't make this kind of decision. This guy stands up next to me and goes, I'll offer anyone $1,000 extra. 13 years old. I get $1,000 from this guy. So he could be take my seat. And I could be on the flight right over there. And I also get a voucher for a round trip ticket. So my flight, my new flight now, is starting to board. And I'm noticing that the plane that I was supposed to be on wasn't leaving. And I'm bored, and now I don't remember what number I had originally, but I had another number to be on this other flight. I'm going to get on this other flight, and I'm at the window seat. I'm looking out, and the flight I was originally supposed to be on is still sitting there. My flight's getting ready to leave. That flight next to me, I just got $1,000 in my pocket, being a kid, this is big money. I'm like, this is the best. My flight leaves. That flight's still sitting on the ground. I get to Albuquerque, and there's my dad, and I can see my dad, and he's looking at the monitor going, oh, shoot, my son's flight got canceled. I'm looking at it and saying, it got canceled. But this is before cell phones. Like, I had no way to get a hold of my dad, though I'm flying to the same airport. And I go walking up, hey, Dad, he goes, hey, what are you doing here? Your flight was canceled. Don't worry. I said, Dad, look. How'd you get all that money? So the guy offered me $1,000 for my seat. And, Dad, I got a round-trip ticket on Southwest Airlines as well. And I just took the flight an hour later. And I said, but I noticed the flight that I was supposed to be on didn't leave. He goes, yeah, it got canceled. And my dad had, asked one of the people, and all the flights that were coming out of Phoenix, the original one had mechanical issues, so they had to fix it. And then they canceled the flight. So I totally bonused on this situation. It was kind of cool. So, of course, my dad took $1,000. Maybe I should have said, hey, Dad, look, I got $100 and pocketed the $900. But no, my dad got the benefit. I should probably ask him when I get that $1,000 back now. Yeah, some guy had to get to Albuquerque an hour earlier, and he didn't get there. I don't think he got on my flight because, of course, I'm a kid. I'm looking at the window. Oh, what's that guy doing down there? He's got those big orange things on his ears. What's he doing? Okay, when companies successfully apply price discrimination, economists have identified 3 conditions that must be met for price discrimination to occur. First, the company needs to have sufficient market power. Second, it has to identify the difference in demand based on the different conditions or customer segments. And third, the firm must have the ability to protect its product from being resold by one consumer to another. I know a lot of you are driving these days. You perhaps purchased a car, maybe purchased part of your car, or were given a car. A friend of mine who lives up in South Dakota, he sent me a text, and he said, hey, I'm looking for this particular type of Jeep for my daughter who's turning 16. So that's pretty cool. My friend, his wife is the doctor for Rock Springs, South Dakota. So she's like one doctor for 10 million miles of prairie lands. So they've got pretty good money. They have a beautiful home. They live on 1,000 acres, and it's pretty cool. And what's really kind of cool, and I keep telling them, I said, when you open this, I want you call me. They have an abandoned missile silo on their property that they own, but he's never gotten into it. And I'm like, what are you thinking? That would have been the first thing I would have went into. I was like, yeah, you got a cool river flowing through your thing. That's pretty cool. But dude, you got a missile silo. So, he's like, yeah, one of these days we'll get into it. Well, he's lived there for 10 years. So it's like, but he was asking me about a particular type of Jeep and if I knew any of the dealerships down in the Denver area. Well, I know that Mr. Dwyer, who's the math coordinator here, I know that he was bragging about that he found a dealership up in in Idaho, that is like rock bottom prices on Jeeps. And so I texted Mr. Dwyer. I said, where exactly did you buy your Jeep from? I have a friend who's looking for a Jeep. So he sent me the information. And before I sent it back, I went onto the website of that particular dealership up in Idaho. It was ridiculous. It was like $10,000 to $15,000 less expensive to buy a Jeep in Idaho than it was here. And I don't know what the prices were up in South Dakota, but you know, it is what it is. But so I sent it to my friend. My friend said, man, going on a road trip. Drove over to that dealership, purchased a Jeep, whatever Jeep he was looking for far less expensive. So was that price discrimination based on location? Sure. What are some things that are different about Idaho, in the middle of the country in Idaho, not necessarily in a city in Idaho, at a dealership? Well, you might not have the economics to actually get the price point that they're getting over here on Arapahoe Road or wherever we have other dealerships. So know that if you are looking for a car, go to some of the states, to the small towns, small town USAs, to their Jeep or their Chevy or their whatever dealerships, and you might be able, if you're willing to do a one-day drive, you might save a significant amount of money for the same exact product. So, was that what you were looking for on price discrimination? Cool. All right. What did you think? Was that okay, everybody? Ooh, predatory pricing. We should look what this is. Up next, predatory pricing. I don't know what this means. Predatory pricing violates antitrust laws as it makes markets more vulnerable to a monopoly. Whoa. Okay, I won't do that. So that's the information I have for you today. So you know that come Monday, that's due. Please realize some of you still have stuff on Schoology that needs to be done. It's hurting your grade for not having it in. Okay, so if you get that done, and so I can improve your grade. Plus, if you owe me homework assignments, you're welcome to do those. Show them to me. I mean, some of you have shown me 3 or 4 different assignments from the past, and you have them done. Cool. Let me get that grade in. But I would strongly encourage you to try and get stuff in prior to spring break, because you seniors, it's almost all of you, senioritis bug is bit, and it's going to be a big infection come the Monday after break and until you guys graduate, right? So I'm just trying to be nice, trying to provide you. I know that. I mean, I'm not trying to take it away from you. So that's what I got for you. Welcome.